Welcome to Math 242. So this is just going to be a short introduction. The course is basically set up into two pieces or programs that we use. The first one is going to be our Laulima site, and the second one would be the MyLab program where you do most of your assignments. So let's just get started and jump into the Laulima site. Now you won't see this red bar when you sign into your courses. I only have this here because I'm in student view. Let me see if I exit student view, then this is what I normally see as an instructor, but I'm going to go back to student view. These are my courses. Of course, you're going to have less than this. I have two Math 242 sections this summer, so this introduction video will be for both sections. The first thing you see is the welcome page, and the welcome page has a little bit about myself, and it has contact information, and then how to get started, the steps, and then if you have any questions at all, at any time during this course, there's going to be 3 help or support links that you can go to. The first one would be if you have any questions about a course itself, then you can email me directly. But if you have questions or need support for the actual Laulima site, then there is a link to support where you can submit a ticket. And then if you have links or questions, on the MyLab program, there's also a link here for support. So let's go back up to contact information. Now, if you do want to get in touch with me, and this course is completely online, so all the communication will be typically online. You could call my office phone and leave a message. I'm not in my office since I'm only teaching online in the summer, and in fact, I'm rarely going to our campus. So you could call that office phone, leave a voicemail. The voicemail is actually going to be forwarded to me in an email link. So instead of going through that whole process, you can just email me directly. If for some reason I am on campus and we do happen to meet, this is my physical office building. It's in Hale Manopono 105A on the Windward Community College campus. And then I have my email, but that email link is also in our navigation bar. So if you email me, I'll respond within 24 hours, except for if you're emailing on a holiday or on a weekend, it may take me longer to respond. And I usually respond way less than 24 hours. I'm going to have some open Zoom office hours, and these are going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3 p.m. The first Tuesday of our class is July 4th, so that is a holiday. Once this course starts, my first open office hour will be the Thursday of the 6th from 2 to 3 p.m. You can just click on the Zoom link and it's open. You don't need an appointment. If you have any questions, you can just jump in and ask me. If this is not a convenient time and you want to meet with me, just email me at least 24 hours before you want to meet and we can verify a time to Zoom. Okay, so I normally work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m., again, excluding holidays. So if you do want to contact me, that would be the best time and you can get a response fairly quickly. Again, if you're emailing on the weekend, it might take a little bit longer for me to respond to you. I think that's the most frustrating part in an online course is not having that immediate feedback from the instructor, which is understandable. So how do we get started? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to read the Start Here page, and these are all in the navigation bar, then the syllabus, and then after you're done with that, you'll move on to week 1. So let's go ahead and go to the Start Here page in the navigation bar. Again, we were on the welcome page. Start Here page basically goes through the requirements that you will need for this course. Tips for success. It's only a 6-week course, and there's a lot of information because Calculus 2 is a 4-credit course. So you should be prepared to spend at least 10 to 12 hours per week, possibly more depending on how fast you understand the concepts for this course. So if you do work and have other classes, have family obligations, it just may be a little bit overwhelming to be taking this course as well. So that's something you should think about because once you fall behind, it's very, very difficult to catch up. So the course technology and the hardware, basically you should have a reliable internet connection and have access to a reliable computer. You should be able to save documents as a PDF. Those are the basic things that you need to do. So the next thing we want to do is go to the syllabus and read through that. So again, we're not going to read through the whole syllabus that you can read on your own. We're just going to look at the highlights of the syllabus. So again, that's just a link in our navigation bar, and it should open up to a new page. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit larger. So again, about this course, which we went over on the welcome page. We have our Windward Community College mission statement, catalog description, student learning outcomes. These are all things that you will find in our online catalog. Responsibilities: have access to a reliable high-speed internet connection, adequate computer skills, and make sure you set aside adequate study time. You should be checking your emails regularly, and the hard part being self-motivated. I think that is the hardest part in an online course because it's so easy just to put things off when you're setting your own pace. So here's where your grading comes from. You're going to have 6 forums, 5 points each, so that's 30 points. Homework: there's 26 MyLab assignments, 10 points each, so 260 points. There's a portfolio that we'll talk about in a little bit. Well, I can talk about it now. As you go through this MyLab homework, you're just going to show your work in a portfolio, and then you would save for each section. You would save that homework and upload it to the Dropbox at the end of the semester. I'm just going to scan through and look for completeness on your portfolio. I'm not looking for correctness. So you'll be graded on correctness for the MyLab homework assignments, but portfolio is just completeness, about showing your work. So what I do is every week I sort of scan through people's work, and if I notice any issues that come up that's common or occur frequently with the students, I'll adjust that and provide feedback for that. We also have 5 quizzes, 50 points each, but you have 2 attempts. So the first attempt, these quizzes are every Friday except for the last Friday of the term. That would be our final exam. So the first attempt has to be done by Friday, and then the second attempt, if you choose to do a second attempt, again, if you're happy with your first attempt score, you don't have to do a second attempt, but your second attempt has to be completed by the Wednesday of finals week. And then we have a cumulative final exam, just one of those, that's 200 points. So we should have 790 points total, and here's a breakdown of how your grade will be computed. So the normal scale, 90% and above is an A, 80 to 89% a B, and so on. There's a list of all the course contents that we're going to go through, and this will be helpful if you're transferring this course to another college outside of the UH system. Make sure to send your syllabus to your counselor or your advisor so they can see the topics that we went through. The only required material that you're going to have is that MyLab online program, and we're going to access that through IDAP. And then a graphing calculator, online or handheld, is very helpful for some of the problems that you're going to see in the MyLab, and it could be helpful on exams as well. Okay, so this is just a generic blurb that we put in here for the IDAP program. So the IDAP program is a program that gives you access to the MyLab course, and it's automatically charged to your UH account, so you don't have to pay for it right away. There's some additional resources in here. Windward has a tutoring center called Capico. In the first summer session, we did have online tutors, but I still haven't had confirmation on whether we're going to have tutors for the second summer session. So that I will add to our navigation bar if it comes up. Tutor.com is a tutoring program. Again, it's a virtual tutoring program, and that should be 24/7. It's a UH system resource, so you should have a certain amount of hours that you can use for tutor.com. If you need more hours, you would just request it from whatever campus your home campus is. And here's some other resources that you can use. A lot of people use Symbolab and Wolfram Alpha. There's also this Desmos calculator. That would be a really good online graphing calculator if you needed to use one. The last two are just information videos. There is a Professor Leonard, and he does very good videos, much better than mine. And then Khan Academy videos as well. So some additional information that you might want to read through, it just goes into more detail about things like attendance, final exams, and quizzes. Of course, this is an online class. There is no attendance. But since it's only 6 weeks and we cover a lot of material, we don't have any makeup work and we have no extensions of due dates. You don't want to fall behind. And if I did say makeup work for people or extend due dates, then what happens is they tend to focus on that makeup and they ignore the new material, which means they're falling behind. Which is why when I do the MyLab assignments, I just take off 1% of the assignment, and each one is 10 points for every day that you're late. And we'll talk about that in a little bit more. So again, just go through and read in detail about all the items that you're going to be graded on. We also have 2 extra credit. The first would be the CES survey. It's the end of the semester student survey. So that extra credit is 10 points, but it happens at the end of the semester. And then our final exam review, up to 10 points. Whatever you score on the final exam review is extra credit. So you could get up to 10 points for that. And again, that comes at the last week of our class as well. So usually that's when people ask, are there any extra credit opportunities? Yes. 2 of them, 20 points total in the last week of class. Okay, so some information on disabilities, sex discrimination, that would be our Title IX. And alternate contact information if you can't get in touch with me and you have some sort of emergency. Important dates. And then our summer schedule. I've set up this schedule so that it's basically a Monday through Friday schedule. You are absolutely free to work ahead on any assignments, even the final exam, and get the course done as fast as you choose. So you can always work on the weekends and things like that and work ahead. That's not a problem. So we've gone through the syllabus. And the next thing is, we're going to skip a bunch of stuff. The next step would be to go to week 1. So if I click on week 1 in the navigation bar, it will eventually show up. This is how the pages are set up. It has week 1 and sort of a description about what we're going to cover. So in week 1, we have this introduction. We have a holiday, which is our July 4th. So here we're going to go through section 7.1 through 7.4. The first part of each module or each week will have a description about what we're going to do. And then under lessons and resources would be any links that you need to access resources that would help you complete assignments. And then I have also made a calendar if you want to see what the pacing looks like. And this calendar does not have everything. What it does is it has actual due dates in here. So if you look at Monday, 7.1 would be due. Now, if you're late accessing the MyLab, the IDAP MyLab, and you don't start 7.1, say, till Wednesday, that's fine. You will have a late penalty of 1% of any problems submitted after the due date, which is so minor. It doesn't even really affect your grade that much. So if you're late on a few assignments, it's not a big deal. And then we have a checklist for those that enjoy checklists. So this is just checking off things as you complete them, like we did the start here, we did our syllabus. I've registered for IDAP. And there's going to be an orientation on the MyLab program, which is optional. It's not graded. You don't have to do it. So this is just another way to keep track of things if you choose to. The checklist is optional. Reading this is optional. If you look at these pages, there's a lot of resources in here that are optional. How I set this up is that for each section, there's going to be notes. So if I click on the 7.1 notes, let's see what shows up. And notice that this particular title is Math 206. And that's because I made this when our Math 242 was actually called Math 206. So these are just blank lecture notes. And what I do is I just complete these notes, and that would be the video portion. Did you see as a link as well? So on the video, there's so many videos that I don't actually embed them into these page, or else they would take up way too much room. They go straight to the YouTube video. And I'm not going to click on it because I don't want it to start playing. So the video is just me filling in those class notes. This is optional resources. It's not mandatory. None of this is mandatory. If you look at this, the weekly due dates, this is what you have that you're graded on. So 7.1 you're graded on. Tuesday's a holiday. 7.2, 7.3, Forum 1, 7.4, and your first attempt, which would be our quiz 1. And then there's a little highlight under here that says for all MLM, which is MyLab Math homework, you need to show your work on paper or tablet and then upload your work to the Dropbox as a PDF and then label it appropriately. So the Dropbox is also in our navigation bar, and instructions on how to use the Dropbox is under lessons and resources. So if we look at lessons and resources here, I'm going to be uploading our introduction video. It has information on how you register for your IDAP, information on how to use the Dropbox, the Forum 1 with instructions on how to use forums, Quiz 1 information, all the sections that we're going to cover this week with the notes and the accompanying videos. And the videos are not super high quality. I got to tell you this right now. And in fact, I've got to redo a lot of these videos. I just kind of get out my iPad and record, and I rarely edit. So sometimes I'll make a mistake and go back and just scratch it out and keep recording, but I won't edit it out. So I'm human. I make mistakes too. Anyway, that's how the weeks are set up. So if we go into week 2, see the same thing, the title, what we're going to cover, description. Sometimes there'll be some announcements, but I also send out email announcement for all this stuff as well. Lessons and resources, we'll have information, a link to the forum, the quiz information, section, notes and videos. And then after the first week of class, in week 2, I will put some feedback on the written work in the portfolio that I scanned through for week 1. So if there's anything, again, that I notice that is giving people trouble, I'll add this as a link in week 2 for week 1. So every week you will have feedback on the written work that was submitted. Now your portfolio, where you're going to be submitting your work, which would be in the Dropbox, I actually only grade at the end of the semester. So you don't have to upload your work as you're completing your MyLab assignments. You can go over them and kind of make them look neater and all that stuff and upload them later, as long as I get them all by the end of the semester. Again, week 3, all 6 weeks are up. Title, description, resources, you got your calendar, checklist, and on every page we also have the same links to the supports that we have on the very first page. For questions about the course, me, Laulima, we have a link. MyLab, we have a link. So once you've read through Start Here and syllabus and you've gone to week 1, the next thing you want to do is you want to go to the Vital Source link, and that's where you're going to register for the MyLab portion of the course. We'll go there in just a sec. Let's just finish off our Laulima page. There's going to be, I added a MyLab Math status page. So sometimes people have issues accessing MyLab, and they're not sure if it's there, issue on their end or if it's MyLab. So this is a helpful link. It's the MyLab math status page, and it'll just tell you when MyLab is down for maintenance. So your Dropbox, if you click on that, I just have mine. This is where you would be uploading your portfolio work. Any announcements for this class, and I've had 2 so far before I made this video that I've posted, will be posted in Laulima, but I'll also send out an email announcement to go with it. Then we have our email link. So you can email myself. Under roles, you can choose if you want instructor, or you could look at our student roster and email your fellow classmates as well. Gradebook, this is where your course grade is. These are all the things that you're graded on. We have 6 forums. You have your MyLab homework. I'm going to update the score weekly. And again, that was what, 260 points total? You have the portfolio, a final exam, 5 quizzes, and then extra credit would be the CES survey and the final exam review. Now, Laulima has a gradebook and MyLab has a gradebook. I choose to use the Laulima gradebook for your final course grade, not the MyLab gradebook. And that's because MyLab has limits to how the gradebook is used. It's very difficult to add offline items like the forums or extra credit or the portfolio. So I have a choice. I can take forum, portfolio, and extra credit and add that to the MyLab gradebook, or I can take the MyLab stuff and add it to the Laulima gradebook. So I chose to use the Laulima grade to compute your final course grade. So here's where you're going to find your forums. Here's our links. The first, questions and discussions, that's not graded. That's if you want to post things for other students in the course or ask questions of other students in the course, then you can go ahead and use this questions and discussions for student use. Again, not graded. Forums, and we have our first forum is here. The forums, like forum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they'll be labeled. There'll be links in our weekly modules, and you can also see the links in the navigation bar. They'll only show up when they're ready for you to actually post on the forum. So again, each forum is 5 points. And then there's a link for tutor.com. I wonder if it'll tell me I don't have, oh, it says, okay, so you would have to log in using your UH username and access. When I click on this link, it says I'm not currently a student, so I have no access, but for you guys, you should have. Let's see, so there's also this help link, and that will also take you to the Laulima help. It's not for MyLab or for the course, it's just strictly for Laulima. So that's it for the Laulima page. Let's go into the Vital Source link. And there's instructions on how you register for IDAP in week 1. Otherwise, you would see this, something similar to this screen. And opted in is defaulted. If you do want to opt out, you have to uncheck this. But if you opt out of the IDAP, then you will not have access to the MyLab course. It looks like it's $29.45 to have access for our course, which is pretty good. So what you're going to do whenever you access MyLab through Laulima is you're going to click on this Launch Courseware link. Now, the first time you click on it, you'll have to register for the course, but I don't have that option. I can't walk you through that, which is why I have instructions in week 1 that show you what it looks like when you have not registered for the course yet. Once you've registered and you click on the Launch Courseware link, you should see something like this page. So you can just go to your assignments, you can go to your home course, or you can just look at the Pearson MyLab announcements. Or you can click on this orange tab at the very top, and that's usually what I do. There's also help and support here as well, and this is just for MyLab. This is not for Laulima. So when I go to my MyLab course, I use the MyLab and mastering link, that orange tab at the top. And this is what I see. You're going to see something a little bit different because it's going to take me to the instructor course. If I view the student course, we have a calendar 2 weeks out, and let's see, it has some other information on here that you guys can look through. you can click on entire course to date, and that will show you everything for the course as a list. They also have an announcement. It's a generic welcome to MyLab announcement, and it just talks about the MyLab program. What you want to make sure that you have access to on this homepage is a browser check. So you can do a browser check from the entire course to date tab underneath the Welcome to MyLab Math announcement. But you can also do your browser check from this help icon on the upper right where it says browser check. And it's really important that you do a browser check before you start doing assignments, because some assignments require this Wolfram CD player. So for me, I need to check the version to see if mine is up to date, but I'm going to ignore that for now. But you might have to maybe install Adobe or something like that as well. Your navigation bar may look a little different than mine. You probably don't see Manage Course or Communication Tool or Instructor Tools. You probably just see the ones that are here, which would be Course Home, Assignments, Student Gradebook, and so on. So what you really want to look at here is Assignments. That's where you're going to do all your assignments. That's where all the graded stuff is. The orientation, again, this is optional. This is just an orientation on how you use MyLab. So if you're not familiar with the program, you might want to go through that, but again, it's not graded. These are all the graded things, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3. And on my page, it's listed in the order that you should complete all these things. So the first quiz is just going to be the 7.1 through 7.3. The first attempt would be the Friday of the 7th. So once you've done 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, you can try the quiz, your first attempt. If you're happy with your score, you don't have to do a second attempt. And then there's a 7.4 on that Friday as well, but that won't be included in quiz 1. That's going to be included in quiz 2. So then 7.4, 5, 6, 8.1 through 8.2, and 8.3, that would be on quiz 2, and so on. So these are all the assignments for our course. And that's the main thing that you want to look at. And I'll go into an assignment in just a little bit. There is also a student gradebook, but this is not your course grade. This is just strictly the grade for the MyLab assignments. And on my course grade, I only access 7.1. So in the student gradebook, you can review the assignments that you've submitted. And I did one question and got it wrong. So notice that it says late submission penalty, 1% deduction per day from questions completed after the due date. So I see that I got all my questions wrong. But if I went in and I answered a question or I answered like half the questions and I had them correct, but I didn't have time to finish, I would submit. And then I can go back in again in assignments and continue on completing. So the penalty is only on questions that were submitted after the due date, not the whole assignment. So again, if I go into 7.1 under assignments, I can go ahead and click on any questions I did not complete prior and go through them. Something that comes up a lot is what help features should you use? I prefer view an example. When you click on view an example, it'll give you a similar problem and it'll walk you through the steps so you can apply it to your current problem. But under get more help, you could also, oh, this one doesn't have it. Oh, the help me solve this, sorry. If you do help me solve this, what that's going to do is it's going to take you through the problem that you have on your screen, and it'll walk you through that particular problem. The problem with the help me solve this is once you've used it, you can't be graded for that particular problem. The computer program will automatically generate a similar problem for you to then try. So help me solve this. We'll walk you through the problem that is given, and then you don't get a score. It'll generate a new problem for you to try. So since it does that, I just use view an example because that gives me a similar problem, excuse me, to try. And then once I go through the instructions, I can try it on my problem and it won't change the problem that I originally had. But it's up to you, whichever one you want to try. And then if you you can save it and you can come back later and complete it. Now, the e-text content, that's just going to be and you don't have access to this integrated review thing. That's not something that's part of this course, but you can go through all the chapters and that would be like an ebook. I'm losing my voice. There's also a study plan that's optional. If you need more help or you want to review maybe something from Calculus 1 that you forgot, you can go into all chapters, maybe derivatives. Maybe you forgot how to use a chain rule. So you can go through some sample problems in the study plan. Just as a refresher for maybe Calc 1. There's also, again, not graded, optional. So these are all just resources that you can use, but you're not graded on. Remember, the only thing that you're going to be graded on is the assignments portion. There's also a video and resource library. That's really nice because you can choose by chapter and section, but you can also choose what kind of resource you want. Do you want to select them all? Do you want to just look at the textbook? Do you want to just look at videos? Because my lab has some really nice videos as well. They also have animation and interactive figures. So in 7.1, there are a bunch of video lectures that you can look at as well. Again, these are all optional resources. And then there's accessibility resources. So that would be if you need some accommodation. So there's accessible PowerPoint, lecture slides, video transcripts, and so on. And then the last thing you should see would be purchase options. If you want to purchase a hard copy, you can do it here. You can get the complete text. So the complete text is Calculus 1 through Calculus 4 at Windward. Calculus 1 and 2 would be the single variable textbook, but they give you the binder edition, so it's just loose leaf with the 3-hole punch, and you would have to put it in your own binder. Let's see how much they're selling it for now. $65, that's expensive. But it's not necessary, you don't need it. So that's the MyLab course, and that pretty much sums up this course. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email. Again, I should get back within 24 hours or so. And welcome to the course.